Okay, carrying on. We are still doing Zero Escape, 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. Let's see. We are now heading through the next door 4 segment.
Sure does. Well then, let's open it.
All right, here I go.
Let's see what we're on the flow. Okay, we're in the novel section. It's a kitchen. He entered slowly, trying to take in as much of the surroundings as he could. The others followed shortly.
Oh, so it's a kitchen.
Sen did not look pleased.
What were you expecting?
Isn't it obvious? The exit? I was hoping this would be the way out of here.
You really think it'd be that easy?
Yeah, I know. Still.
Yeah. 1 second. Good. Alright. Cool. As they talked, Lotus headed deeper into the room until at last she stood in front of a door.
If we can just get through this door, we should come out on the other side of that grate we saw earlier.
But don't we need a key for that?
No good.
Neither Junpei nor Lotus looked terribly happy.
Anyway, let's take a look.
Junpei took the ship map from his pocket and spread it out in front of him. As he did,
Hey!
What's that?
Huh? Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to tell you. I found this a little while ago. It's a map of the B deck.
before Junpei could finish, Lotus snatched the map away from him.
Let me see that.
She ran her fingers across it, muttering to herself.
I knew it. See? Look.
Yes, hold your horses.
Junpei did as he was told.
What did you figure out?
Santa and June moved to look over the map as well.
This is handy.
See? We came in here. Now if we go out there, then we'll be on the other side of the grate.
With her finger, Lotus traced the path on the map.
How about that? She's right. We can get out through there.
There we go. Here, you can have it back.
Satisfied as she'd been correct, Lotus folded the map and handed it back to Junpei.
Thanks.
He took it and slid the valuable piece of paper back into his pocket.
There's a card reader on the right side of the door.
And that means the key card is somewhere in here, right?
Yep.
That seems the most likely.
Well, let's find out.
All right, we know what we need to do then. Let's get moving. First off, I say we split up and look for clues.
Okay.
Seek a way out. Alright, we're looking over the kitchen. The voucher, it says appetizer 9, meat dish 10, soup A, seafood dish F. Hexadecimal, more of it. Something doesn't seem right here. Why are there so many plates? Those 9 plates look pretty expensive. The plates for appetizers. Remember, appetizers usually come on square plates. Okay. Well, excuse me, princess. Is that a Legend of Zelda reference? 10 of them. If you flip these over, they look like hats. The middle is super deep for a plate. They're soup plates. They're made that way so that the soup doesn't spill. If you ever get out of here, you should treat yourself to a nice dinner out. What makes you think a poor college student has the money to do something like that? Which says soup A. A is 10. Meat dish is 10. I think there are 15 of these plates, assuming they're for seafood. How can you tell that? They look just like any other plate from the 99-cent store. You ever take a lady out to dinner, you're gonna embarrass yourself. I feel sorry for June. What? What? Well, what? Why the hell are you bringing up June? The lady doth protest too much, methinks. You're not terribly subtle. There's a bunch of little wavy ridges on this plate. Those are for serving meat. Ah, you really are ignorant, aren't you? Come on, it's not like I need to know this crap. Jeez. Gotcha doesn't match the number of plates on the table. This is appetizer 9, meat dish 10, soup A, seafood dish F. Plates on the table are 9 appetizers, 16 meat, 10 soup, 15 seafood. So I need to take 6 away from the meat. Hexadecimal. Ah, yeah, I know. Hexadecimal. It's the normal number of numbers. Base 10 equivalents for hexadecimal numbers would go like this. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Countertop. We've got a rolling pin and a colander, nothing useful in other words. Hey Santa, could you open that door please? What the hell? There's no way I could open that thing. Guess you're getting to that age where your eyes start to go, huh? Better watch your mouth, boy, or someone won't live long enough to see that door open. It's got the two of them on edge. We gotta get out of here. And fast! That's the exit. There's a big old iron plate over the door. I think we can open it. Tank with a pipe coming out of it. Nothing really special about it. Partition, there's nothing special about it. Wow, this pot looks like it's made out of silver. Bet drinking tea from this pot would be really yummy. Spending a day off with June drinking tea. Can such a day ever happen for me? Jumpy? Oh, nothing. We don't really need hot water, so we should be moving on. It's a lot of notes. They've got a bunch of stuff written on them, but it doesn't look like a code or anything like that. Cheese. Or bread. Cheese. Hey, there's something behind the cheese. You're right. Why don't we move some of the cheese? Alright guys, time to move it. June and I need to look behind you. Well, green bottle back there. Bottle of oil. Oh look, cooking oil. You could probably use this to make something slippery. This is Gouda cheese, the most famous Dutch cheese. If you don't cut open the casing, it usually won't go bad. So you can store it at room temperature for quite a while. So we can eat this? Most likely. I'm not hungry at all. It's hard to get hungry in a situation like this. Sweet. Anything else? You're searching with such tenacity. I don't think you have to search down there. Just want to be sure.
A rusty knife? I don't think we'll be able to use it while it's like this.
That seemed important, Jimp, I thought, but it wasn't going to be much use the way it
It's
was.
futile.
Futile?
You know, a waste, useless, pointless.
Oh. Any particular reason you wanted to bring that up?
Oh, no reason really. I was just thinking about futility.
Huh?
Getting existential in times of crisis. It wasn't making much sense. Junpei tried rephrasing his
Why
question.
were you thinking about futility?
Well, it has something to do with the Titanic.
The Titanic?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Have you ever heard the story that the sinking of the Titanic was predicted?
No. Please tell me.
No, I haven't. What is it?
In 1892, 14 years before the Titanic sank, a novel was published. It was called Futility. It was written by an American novelist named Morgan Robertson. The story was about a big cruise ship colliding with an iceberg and sinking.
It's very on the nose.
Of course, if that was the only similarity, there wouldn't be any reason to mention it. It wasn't, though. The name of the ship, its nationality, course, departure time, size, displacement, maximum speed, number of passengers and crew, the number of lifeboats, even the location of the accident itself, and the cause and the location of the damage. Everything matches the Titanic almost exactly. It was almost as if he'd seen the whole thing happen. But this book was written 14 years before the Titanic sank. But that's not all. It wasn't just futility that predicted the sinking of the Titanic. There were two other similar stories written by a man named William Thomas Stead. Both of them before the accident. One in 1886 and one in 1892. Stead wrote two stories that had striking similarities to the Titanic disaster. In one, two ships collided. Many of the passengers died because there weren't enough lifeboats. In the other, a ship collided with an iceberg and sank.
Let's see.
I don't know. I mean, I'll give you that it seems a little weird, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't too uncommon for ships to hit icebergs back in the day, or even other ships.
Right, I knew you'd say that. But what if Stead had some sort of special powers? To be more specific, what if he had the ability to do automatic writing?
What? Automatic writing? Wait, are you talking about when someone's possessed by a spirit and then they write a bunch of stuff without knowing what they're writing?
Yes.
What do you mean, yes? That stuff's a load of bull. Okay, let's say, hypothetically, that automatic writing isn't a total load. These guys still couldn't have predicted the sinking of the Titanic. When this Stead dude wrote his thing, nobody had died on the Titanic yet. So if automatic writing is about being possessed by dead people, who the hell possessed him so he could write that stuff?
That's not it.
What's not it?
Stead wasn't possessed by a spirit. He was doing the possessing.
What are you smoking?
William Thomas Stead was a passenger on the Titanic.
One second. I'm responding to someone's message. Okay.
He just wrote down what he saw with his own eyes 20 years before it happened.
You said it was probably best to say nothing. What June was saying was insane and utterly absurd. If he tried to take what she was saying seriously, he'd go mad.
Well,
Junpei smiled uncomfortably.
well, why don't we talk about this some other time, okay?
Huh? But
Her voice trailed off and she glanced at the floor,
Come
troubled.
on, let's get back to it.
Junpei tapped Jun gently on the shoulder and awkwardly reached around her to pick up the knife from the box. Rusty knife. Search. Really trouble. I know I'm just repeating myself, but this is really a futility moment. Blade is so rusty. Yeah, I know. Can't cut a damn thing with a knife like this. When we cut anything, we probably have to sharpen the knife. So much stuff here. A lot of cans. Oh, a pantry. There's milk in here. Milk in an iron barrel? Judging by the rest, it's probably really old. Maybe we shouldn't open up. I don't think it would be a pretty sight. Or a smell. A sink. It's still got water in it. There's a couple plates in there, but I don't think they're going to help us much. Whetstone. Mine with knife. You'll use the whetstone to sharpen the knife. The knife is getting sharper by the second. Should be able to cut something pretty good with this. Just a knife. Man, you got rid of all the rust. That's amazing. Maybe this table's for prepping food. There are plates everywhere. Oh, countertop. There's a rolling pin and colander here. Nothing useful. Trash can, there's nothing inside of it. A little better than being full of rotten food, I suppose. Damn, there's nothing here. Hey Santa, digging through the trash really suits you. What the hell did you say? Listen, lady, I did you a favor. I knew you'd just piss and moan, so I did it for you. Oh my, I don't recall asking you to do anything. I ought to throttle you. Excuse me? Does it feel colder in here? There are lights, buddy. Nothing weird about that. I wonder what this drawer is. See the metal grate on top of the grill? Make it like that so that the fat and juices can drip off the meat while it cooks. Interesting. Alright, it's going. Do you think this was all part of Zero's plan? Probably. Kinda hard to believe that there's a chef on board somewhere. Looks like the area under the plate opens up. No, you can't. I already checked. It's sealed shut. I think that's where the coal goes. They're bright red. Alright. Oh, hey. An iron oven. Looks pretty heavy duty. It's probably industrial quality. I bet you could cook anything with this. Anyway, let's have a look inside. Damn, I knew it. It's locked. Alright. It's probably what you're supposed to use to enter the password. Maybe if we put in the right number, it'll open the oven door. Well, I don't think we know what that is yet, so let's figure it out. What we've got here is a pot and a frying pan. Oh, and a pressure cooker. So we could use some of those as weapons. What kind of idiot are you? You gonna run around holding that thing while you're looking for the dead? Hey man, it was just a joke. Why so serious? Please do not say why so serious. There's some bottles of seasonings here. Yeah, we already looked at that. Yeah, we already looked at that. That's the way out. Door is locked. Alright, gotta find it. Was that it? Alright, we've got the whole room. Alright, let's try it. Found on the voucher earlier. A 10 10 15. It's worth a shot. No dice. Looks like that's too many numbers. Alright, we gotta cut something. We gotta cut the cheese. Oh hey, another door. A door. There's a bolt keeping us from opening it. It's a bolt, and it's really rusty. Will this even open? Don't know until we try. Let's give it a shot. No, we gotta oil the thing. No dice. Alright. Budge, of course. Maybe if I put some oil on it. Hey, just a little bit of oil, and come on. Come on, you son of a bitch. Whoa. Oh yes, you've got it. You did it, Jim. You're so smart. It's a freezer. As Junpei walked into the room, a blast of cold air washed over him. Almost instinctively, he folded his arms tight across his chest, doing what he could to conserve body heat.
It's cold in here. What is this place?
Are you blind? It's a freezer.
It's a freezer. His teeth had already begun to chatter. Hardly surprising, the freezer was far beyond too cold for someone dressed as he was. Lotus, however, was in an even worse situation.
Oh, no way. That's way too cold for me. I'll freeze solid in seconds. Sorry, but I'm afraid I'll have to pass on this one. I'm going to leave the rest to you.
Okay. As Lotus left, June came in. One second.
Oh, whoa. It's really cold in here.
White puffs of steam hovered in front of their faces as they talked. June had already started to shiver.
Hey, you don't need to be in here. You had a fever just a little bit ago. You should stay outside. We got this.
No, I'm fine. My fever's gone now.
But
Junpei had scarcely opened his mouth
Huh?
when the thunderous sound of metal upon metal rang out from behind them. In unison, they spun around to find that the door they'd only recently come through was closed. Junpei rushed to the door.
Why did it suddenly close?
Desperately, he grabbed a hold of the doorknob.
Ah,
It was cold, beyond cold, merely touching it was
the
pain.
knob's frozen.
But why?
He quickly deduced that the pipe next to the door had ruptured.
Looks like the pipe next to it broke, and
Water released by the rupture had hit the door and frozen it instantly. Senna shoved Junpei aside and pounded against the door.
Hey, Lotus! You're out there, right? Open the door!
What do you want? What's going on?
The door won't open! Try opening it from that side!
Oh, fine. If you say so. Hold on.
Soon they could hear Lotus on the other side of the door. Then the grunting ceased and they could hear a high, light panting as if from exhaustion.
It's no use. It won't budge. You've got more people in there. You figure it out.
Oh, geez, thanks, Lotus.
Oh,
God damn it.
Senna was shaking like a newborn deer. June was hugging herself and was shivering violently. Even Junpei, with the heaviest clothes of any of them, was clearly feeling the cold. With every breath they took, they could feel the cold working its way deeper and deeper into their bodies.
anyway, let's find a way out. If we don't get moving, we're gonna be permanent residents.
two heads are better than none. I'm sure we'll figure something out.
Yeah, you're right. Let's just take a good look around this room, okay?
Right.
They pushed in close to one another and began to search. Alright. Hey, rope. There's so much stuff in here. Why don't we just take some of it out, Jumpy? Water bottle. That looks useful. Alright. Dry ice. JP picked up the dry ice with his sleeve so as to avoid burning himself.
Dry ice is just frozen carbon dioxide, right?
Yeah, it is.
I wonder how warm it has to get for it to turn back into gas again.
Hell if I know. How is that gonna help us anyway?
Oh, well, I figured we might be able to use it to get out of here.
We're about to move on when June spoke up.
Carbon dioxide sublimation point is negative 109 degrees. Any warmer than that, and it'll turn into gas. Any lower, and it becomes a solid.
Junpei looked at her dumbfounded.
Oh, how do you know that?
Despite my looks, I'm the the queen of random knowledge.
Looks bad to mess up when you're showing off. Oh, you're so cold your mouth's going numb?
Yeah, that's right.
That's Vite.
You're just doing that on purpose, aren't you?
And did her best to hide her guilt. At least she was still feeling good enough to joke around, Junpei told
Come
himself.
on, guys. Don't you think that's kind of weird? I
Yeah.
wonder why it doesn't turn into a liquid first.
Cinder was now shivering at an astounding rate, but his curiosity seemed unaffected. Junpei. It did seem rather odd.
It is kind of weird.
June answered.
But it can turn into a liquid.
Hold on, phone call. I'll be right back. Hello? Who's this boy? Alright, apologies back. My dentist called, seeing if I'm still coming in for my next dental appointment in a little over a week's time, and I'm like, don't know. There's a pandemic going on. I'll decide as I get closer to the date. So,
Carbon dioxide turns to liquid if you put it under high enough pressure. But at 1 atmosphere, normal air pressure...
It won't turn into a liquid, right?
That's right. Instead of melting, it'll do what's called sublimating and change immediately from a solid state to a gaseous one.
interesting. So it sounds like we're going to have to use the pressure cooker eventually.
See, that is weird. Water's a liquid between 32 degrees and 212 degrees.
At least in Fahrenheit.
So why isn't that the case for carbon dioxide?
June replied with an answer that's them both.
There's a kind of ice that doesn't turn into liquid when it goes above 32 degrees.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Huh?
I heard about it. Its melting point is 96 degrees.
Ice with a melting point of 96 degrees?
You mean there's water that freezes at 96 degrees?
Yeah, well, you could also look at it as ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees.
Water that freezes at 96 degrees. Ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees. Junpei was cold as hell, but this was too interesting to ignore. He did his best to warm up by rubbing his arms and stamping his feet, then put the question
So
to
what's
June.
this ice with a melting point of 96 degrees called?
I heard it's called Ice 9.
I don't know.
Ice 9?
Originally, Ice 9 was a made-up substance invented by a science fiction author.
Yes.
But recently, scientists have discovered that such a substance actually exists.
Wait, hold up. So is this thing called Ice 9, or is it water?
Like I said, if the ice is over 96 degrees, it'll be liquid. If it's under that, it'll solidify. So you could think of it as a polymorph of H2O. Here, think of it like diamonds and graphite.
Diamonds and graphite.
They're both made of carbon, right? But depending on the structure of the crystallization, the hardness and structure are completely different.
So you're saying normal water and this Ice 9 are like that?
Yup.
She wasn't
Have
finished.
you heard the story about the crystallization of glycerin?
No, I
For
haven't.
150 years after the discovery of glycerin, people cooled it, warmed it. They did all sorts of things to it. But whatever they did, it never crystallized. However, one day in 1920,
In 1920.
some glycerin on its way to England by ship was discovered to have crystallized during the trip. Scientists around the world wanted to research this new crystallized form of glycerin and asked for seeds. Oh, a seed is a sample of the original crystallized substance.
Interesting.
With a seed crystal, further crystallization of glycerin would be easy. However, something very strange happened. Not only did the glycerin encouraged by seed crystals begin to crystallize, even the samples nearby did, even though they were tightly sealed. And it didn't end there. After that day, it doesn't matter where in the world it is. All glycerin crystallizes naturally when cooled to less than 64 degrees. Before that day, no matter how glycerin was cooled, it refused to crystallize. But once the crystallization had begun, it was almost like... how do I put it? It was almost like all the glycerin in the world was communicating. Communicating in some way that we can't sense. And now it's happening everywhere.
It was, in fact, a pretty interesting story.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. But what does that have to do with Ice 9?
She was surprised it was Santa and not June who answered.
What she's saying is that it's a lot like Ice 9. What happened, I mean.
A lot like? Oh, that would be bad.
Wow.
If water everywhere started freezing at 96 degrees... Man.
It'd be the end of the world.
Junpei felt that Santa might not be treating the idea of the end of the world with proper concern.
At any rate, we're not gonna have to worry about the end of the world unless we can get out of here pretty damn quick.
That's true. He was right. Junpei shivered.
Alright guys, I think that's enough of that. I didn't think we'd get quite this far off topic. I mean, I know I'm kinda at fault here, but we can't be screwing around anymore. So seriously, I might go by the name Santa right now, but I didn't grow up in Iceland. I freaking hate the cold. So let's get cracking, alright? We gotta find a way out of here.
We do. Santa stomped off, clearly doing his best to pretend cold wasn't affecting him.
Selfish, isn't he?
Still, Santa was right, and it was high time they got back to their search.
Ice 9 is interesting and all, but we can discuss it more once we get out of this freezer.
Junpei looked at June, nodded, and resumed his search of that room. Alright, let's, Didn't you find some dry ice earlier? Yeah? There's warm water coming out of that pipe. Warm water and dry ice. What do you think would happen if we put that stuff in a sealed container together? Okay. Well, let's finish looking around the room. This thing's covering something. It's frozen solid. I can't flip it over. Thin pipe. There's water dripping from this pipe. Looks like it's when the pipe burst, the water hit the doorknob and frozen in place. Seems almost warm. Some frozen meat up there. Looks like pork. Looks like a tag or something. Chunk of pork. I think there is something written on here, but I can't read it like this. Try and pull it out, it'll probably rip. So we're probably gonna have to melt it. Need to defrost that. Don't think we're gonna do that in this room. Alright. Alright. Menu. Combine with... Nope. And the dry ice into the water bottle. But the dry ice is too big. Well, you gotta figure out a way to make it smaller, don't you then, genius? Alright, well, fine. Combine with knife. Nope. 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 I need to crush the dry ice if I want to get in the bottle. Alright, fine. Alright, that's clearly not what to do. Frozen chicken, okay. Oh, really? Alright, the dry ice is in pieces now. Crumbled dry ice combined with... Look at these pieces of dry ice in the water bottle. Water bottle with dry ice in it. Alright. Now we're getting somewhere. Not yet, Junpei. We're not going to get the result we want unless we can hook that bottle to the doorknob somehow. It's got to explode right next to the ice on the doorknob. We need to figure out a way to attach the bottle to the doorknob. Alright, let's combine that with water bottle bomb. Nice. Alright. Warm water dripped from the ruptured pipe near the
Put
door.
water into the bottle with dry ice, and make sure the lid's closed. Now I just have to put this makeshift bomb on the doorknob. Alright, that's set. So, what do we do now?
We just need to give it a little, tap. The bottle's already about to pop. If we just throw a rock or something at it, it'll go off all on its own.
Right.
Small rock.
Look down at the floor. There's a dry ice left over from the larger chunks he crushed
All right,
earlier.
this ought to do the trick.
He pulled his sleeve down over his hand to keep from getting burned and grabbed the chunk of dry ice.
Dry ice, huh? Not a bad idea.
It's pretty good size, about as big as a pool ball.
All right, guys, stand back. Actually, we should probably hide somewhere.
Will Sam and Jean looked at him with new
Where
concern.
exactly do you expect us to hide, genius?
There isn't really anywhere big enough.
Yeah, there is. Look, right here. We can hide in there.
Junpei pulled open the door to the small cellar.
Come on, get inside.
Sam and Jean nodded and jumped down into the hole. Junpei quickly followed. In his hand he could feel the chill of the frozen carbon dioxide even through his sleeve. Tightened his grip, took aim, and prepared to throw.
All right, here I go. 3, 4, 5.
You're counting the wrong way.
Oh, oops.
That is a really sad excuse for a joke, man.
It is.
Sorry, dude. All right, for real this time.
Yes, whenever you're ready.
Just throw the damn thing.
All right, here I go. 3, 2, 1.
Junpei threw the chunk of dry ice as hard as he could. With the same motion, he chucked it down, ducked down into the cellar with Santa and Jean just as. Junpei leapt up out of the cellar and ran to the door.
Jumpy! The ice on the door! Is it gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
The blast must have shattered it.
Yes. All right, let's see if it opens.
Junpei grabbed the knob and pushed with all his might. The door gave way easily and all three of them tumbled out of the freezer at once.
Hooray! We're out!
June, relieved, collapsed onto the floor.
Move!
Santa shoved past June and ran straight for the grill, which he immediately grabbed.
Oh, god damn it! Fuck!
He proceeded to kick the grill in a futile but amusing fit of
You
rage.
did just grab the grill. What did you think would happen? Hey, where's Lotus?
It took Junpei only a moment to find her. She was sitting on the counter, idly scratching her chest.
Welcome back. I was starting to get tired of waiting for you guys.
With a great yawn, Lotus lowered herself off the counter. Junpei clenched his teeth and walked toward her.
What were you doing?
What do you mean, what was I doing? I was waiting.
We were gonna die.
Oh, yeah? But you didn't. So everything worked out all right, didn't it?
What the hell?
Just kidding. It might not look like it, but I was really worried.
Was she?
Oh, don't give me that crap.
I'm telling the truth. I mean, if you died, then I'd be in trouble too. If you died, then I'd be stuck here, and I'd die too. I did all I could. I even looked around to see if there was anything I could use to pry open the door, but I couldn't find anything. So, all I could do was wait. I mean, what else did you want me to do? Call the cops?
It's true that there wasn't much she could have done, but something about her tone. Junpei gritted his
Fine.
teeth.
But there's one thing I have to ask you.
What's that?
You didn't close the door, did you?
What? You think I closed the door on you? Why would I do something like that? It closed on its own. I told you before, if you die, then I die too.
Yeah, I guess so.
It seemed that an accident was the only explanation for the door's closure.
If she really wanted to kill us, all she had to do was bar the door from the outside. But she didn't. Well, she didn't do anything. She's only lazy, or negligent at least, not an attempted murderer.
Junpei swallowed his anger and did his best to apologize.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I doubted you.
Oh, yes, well that's alright. As long as you understand.
Lotus looked away and twirled her hair between her fingertips. His vengeance against the grill complete, Santa swaggered back toward Junpei and Lotus.
Hey, no more screwing around, you two. Break time's over. Especially for you, lady. You've just been sitting on that fat ass of yours while we were freezing to death.
Damn.
How rude. I was plenty busy.
Yeah. How about you put all that energy into something besides bitching? Let's go.
Alright. No. We are putting the meat. Let's put the meat on the grill. What are you doing? What are you gonna do if the paper burns? Come on, it'll be fine. I mean, it's not like it's gonna burn right away, right? Just gotta keep an eye on it and the paper will be fine. Well, they can argue all they want. I'm gonna keep an eye on this pork. I'm gonna try taking the paper out. Jeffy, be careful. Sweet of her to care, but I know what I'm... Ouch. See, I told you. What the hell are you doing? Hurry up and take the paper out. It's not coming out. Thing's frozen stiff. I can't get it out. So we're gonna have to cut the meat? Yeah, it looks that way. Alright, now that I have sharpened the knife, yes, I cut the pork. Awesome, Junpei, now we can cut out the paper. C plus 10 plus F. So... A is 10, B is 11, 12 is C. 27, 37. Corporate finance. God damn, clever and funny. Alright, we are... Yeah, I know. Yeah, so basically when I'm ready to submit my answer, press. Alright, let's give it a shot. Alright, so it's 12 plus 10 plus 15. Wait. Oh, 10 is hexadecimal. Only 3 numbers, huh? Wait, was the 10 an actual 10 or was it hexadecimal? If it is, then it's 16. Claire. Alright, 27 plus 16 would be 43. Alright. Sounds like metal is falling. Well, I guess that went well. Hey, door opened. Got the Jupiter keycard. Wait, let me examine it. It's the symbol for Saturn, not Jupiter. I'm gonna help us out of it. Not sure. Why don't we try it out? Yeah, why don't we? Hey, we did it. Let's get out of here. Yes, let's go. You found it.
I think we've been here before.
Metal grates stretch from wall to wall. They're on the other side. Beyond it were 2 elevators, the entrance to the kitchen.
The elevators are over there, so that means...
We went into the kitchen through that door and came out on this side.
That means the map was right.
Looks like.
Then let's use it to plan our next move.
Next move?
Yeah, we need to decide where to go from here, don't we?
He's right. Let's get started.
From the looks of it, there are 4 possible routes. Let's just keep it simple and call them A, B, C, and D. First, A and B.
They both seem to connect to a room that looks L-shaped.
Yeah, there were 2 doors,
Where are we in the...
but they were both locked. We couldn't open them.
Let's see where we're in the flow. Hey, we're almost back to where we need to be. Cool.
Now, Route C. This goes all the way to the main staircase.
That means it's door 5, one of the numbered doors.
Then do you think we would meet up with the other 4 after this hallway?
No, I don't think we will.
Why not?
Look, there by the stairs. See how the gate is opened? When we went into the kitchen, it was closed, but it's open now. What do you think?
They opened it.
Most likely.
And if we take Route C, we're going backwards.
That would be pointless.
Then that means...
All 4 looked at the map. Y'all looked at the staircase, its lazy curve leading down deeper into the
Route
ship.
D, then.
D it is.
Yup, Route D.
Then we're set.
Oh, I just smacked the microphone pretty hard. I'm sorry. That was very, very loud. I did not mean to. I was trying to reach over to the mouse and my hand went a little high. Apologies.
Everything looks okay here.
Let's check the next deck just to be sure.
Yeah, just like I thought. D-Deck is totally underwater.
Just like the bottom of the central staircase.
The water gazed back at them, its smooth surface like a
At
gray
least the
mirror.
water level hasn't really changed.
Small comfort.
May as well head back to C-Deck.
What else is here?
There are 2 elevators over there at the top of the stairs. Just like the floor above.
Hold on. These are kind of different. See? There's a card reader on the side.
Another strange mark.
Hey, look! It's Lotus's symbol.
Neptune.
See? It's the woman symbol with horns on it.
Junpei, you're about to get smacked.
That seems like... Oh, ouch, 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 ouch.
Yeah, I saw that coming. She began shaking violently and he thought he heard a low growl coming from her throat.
What was that about the mark again?
Nothing.
Such violence. Junpei began to wonder if she was not the devil herself. Junpei, that is entirely on you. With an uncomfortable smile, June spoke up.
This is a Mercury symbol.
Okay, Mercury.
The horns symbolize the wings on Hermes' staff.
Hermes, herpes, whatever.
Very different things.
If we can't get this thing to work, these elevators aren't going anywhere.
In other words, we need a key card with the Mercury symbol on it.
Probably.
I guess we can't get on then. Let's just disregard the elevators for now.
How about this hallway on the left?
Whoa, there's so many doors.
We weren't sure how many, but certainly enough to be discouraging.
Damn it. If we try and search all these, the sun's gonna go down before we've done half of them.
I think the sun already set.
I have a feeling this ship is the only thing that's going to be going down anytime soon.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
Well, we can come back to this hallway later. Let's check the hallway on the other side, shall we?
Time to head back to the
To their right was a small
Now,
hallway.
right hallway.
Quickly, they headed into it. It was approximately the same size as the alcove in front of the stairs. The hallway led toward the stern, and at its end was a set of double doors.
There are doors here too. Well, I guess it's just 4 this time.
Let's open them.
All right, let's start with.
She bent down and grabbed the one closest to him. With a small tug and pulled it move.
It isn't locked.
Until Doug found an unlocked door, he threw it open. The hospital room.
What?
Yep. He simply stood, unable to speak. Almost there. The others simply stared open-mouthed. After a few long moments, Santa managed to speak.
What the hell is this? This place is huge.
A massive room stretched out in front of them, more a cavern than a room. Its vastness was oppressive and it bore down on the 4 companions. It was not empty, however. The entire room was filled with lines upon lines of beds.
Oh, there are beds everywhere.
There were simple things, little more than pipe and thin mattress.
Is this a hospital?
He had last been able to put a name to that harsh scent that pervaded the room.
It definitely has the smell.
Could be. I see medicine cabinets and surgical tools.
Hey, look there. The 4 doors at the end.
Three of them were emblazoned with large single-digit numbers made with thick red paint.
The left door says 3. The second door is blank, but the third has a 7. And the rightmost door is 8. There's no doubt. They're numbered doors.
Why is the second door blank? That seems kind of strange, don't you think?
No point worrying about it right now. Let's see if these will open first.
Yes, that sounds like a good plan.
Shippey headed toward the doors, weaving his way between the beds. He started with the 3 door on the left and moved to the right until he reached door 8.
Oh, it's no use.
Well, of course. If it was that easy to open these doors, what would be the point of the Nonary game? We have to activate the red, or the numbered doors won't... Wait a minute.
What's wrong?
Look, the display on the red. There's nothing on it.
Huh?
Don't you remember? The red at the central staircase? If no one was inside, it said vacant.
Oh yeah.
But this one,
There's nothing on it.
right?
I wonder if it's broken.
Only one way to find out.
It's not responding.
All 4 took turns placing their hands over the red, but it refused to respond. They pulled at the lever and it still did nothing. As soon as they discovered it wasn't only the red door for 8 that was behaving strangely.
How about the red on door 7? And door 3?
None of them are working.
What does it mean?
I knew it. They're broken. Zero sure sucks at maintenance.
No, that's impossible. You really think Zero, who prepared all of this, would make such a stupid, simple mistake?
Maybe, but that doesn't explain why this thing ain't working.
It was at that moment they heard a voice from behind them.
I believe the bottom of the device has been removed.
They spun around to see.
Snake!
It was more than just Snake.
Hey,
Ace
Clover,
7.
7!
Although they were glad to see one another, it wasn't terribly surprising that they had. If it had been the other party who opened the gate in front of the kitchen, it wasn't unreasonable that they'd bump into one another eventually. The rest of Snake's team, however, did look rather surprised.
How did you end up here?
That's my line?
Perhaps we should exchange information.
After a moment of silence and surprise, everyone began to talk, desperate to exchange information. They talked about the rooms they'd been through and how they'd end up in the same place. Of course, none of it was very useful information, but that hardly mattered. They were happy to simply see one another again. Though the level of cheer varied greatly from person to person, each one of them was wearing some manner of smile, almost as though they had already forgotten about the death of the ninth man. No, thought Junpei, perhaps that wasn't it. Perhaps thoughts of his death were what drove them to smile at one another. Not in a morbid or hateful way. No, the ninth man had died, but they were still alive, and that was something to be happy about. A sort of simple, uncomplicated joy, Junpei thought, the joy of being alive. Still alive. He felt sorry for the ninth man, but more than anything, Junpei was just happy to be alive.
There you have it. Our half of the story.
His part finished, Ace fell silent. For a moment, Junpei was silent in thought. Then he spoke.
Okay, let me see if I got all this straight. When you guys got here, the bases for the Reds were already gone.
And you looked all over this room, but you couldn't find anything.
So you figured that there might be something in the hallway with all the doors.
So you went and had a look?
Yeah.
And while you were looking around, you heard voices.
Uh-huh. So you followed the voices and came back here.
Indeed. And that was how we found you.
Why don't we check those 3 Reds again, just in case?
You're right. Huh. There's a long, thin gap on the bottom. I think it's a slot for something. Probably electronic.
Well, this isn't good. If the red is inactive, we can't keep going.
Well, what about that hallway over there? Isn't there anywhere else we can go?
No, there isn't. There are plenty more hospital rooms, but nothing else.
Hospital rooms. That's what's behind all those doors?
Yes. There are a number of individual rooms in addition to this large one.
There was a door at the end of the hallway, but it was locked.
There was an astrological symbol engraved near the keyhole, however. I was able to get a good feel of it. I believe it was the symbol of Jupiter.
Not again. Those goddamn things are everywhere.
I wonder what they all mean.
For a moment, everyone was silent, deep in thought.
While we're asking what things mean, what's the deal with this room? I mean, I thought this was a cruise ship, but I can't imagine a cruise ship would have a hospital like this.
1 second, message coming in. Of all people, it was 7 who answered in with calm confidence.
Well, I figure it's probably a hospital ship. Chances are it's the Gigantic.
The Gigante?
The Gigantic?
Junpei looked confused. So did everyone else.
What is this gigantic?
The Gigantic. She was a sister ship to the Titanic, built in the early 20th century. Actually, the Titanic had 2 sister ships, and they looked exactly the same. The Gigantic was said to be one of them. They intended to make her a passenger liner like the Titanic, but World War I began soon after the ship launched. The British Navy took her over and made her a hospital ship. At some point during the war, the Gigantic was damaged by a German mine in the Aegean. She ran aground afterwards, so she didn't end up sunk. What happened to her after that? One theory going around is that a man named Lord Gourdain bought her. Seemed like he'd been one of the few to survive the Titanic sinking. That trauma turned him into some kind of obsessive collector of all things related to the Titanic. Soon enough, the guy wanted the Titanic itself. Which was impossible, of course. It's stuck at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. But the Gigantic wasn't. And seeing as she was identical...
So you're saying this Lord Gordain bought this ship?
Yeah, at least I think I am.
That's impossible. No way we're in some boat that's almost 100 years old.
Pipe down, just pay attention. What, that's it? Well, have you got any proof?
Proof?
Proof that this ship is really the Gigantic.
Well, this ship's got stuff that's like the Titanic and a hospital ship. So, I just figured...
Oh, for goodness. Don't tell me that's your only reason.
No, I've got more.
Like?
Well, I mean...
Someone looked around desperately, doing anything to avoid Lotus's piercing stare. He scratched his head for a moment and then gave up. Finally, he opened his
I
mouth.
don't know.
Lotus sighed and shook her head.
I guess your memory isn't back yet, is it?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hey, whoa, wait a minute. Memory isn't back?
Junpei was, he felt, legitimately shocked by what seemed to be new and very important information. Everyone else, however, seemed unimpressed. In fact, they all looked at Junpei as though he had said something very strange.
Yeah. Point being?
He decided to revise his attitude for the next question.
Was I the only one that didn't know?
Everyone nodded.
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't tell you, huh? I told the rest of them before we ran into you on the stairs. I told them I couldn't remember a damn thing from before I woke up.
What?
Then, almost as if to save Junpei from further embarrassment, a bell began to ring from far away.
It sounds like the clock in the main stairway.
Junpei counted each time carefully.
10, 11, 12. Huh.
It's midnight.
Then we've still got 6 hours left, right?
We don't have any time to screw around. Let's get going. We gotta find the missing parts for the Reds.
What do you mean, find? How on earth do you propose we do that?
We've looked everywhere in this room. That only leaves one...
One?
Well, not just one.
Yeah.
Wait. Don't tell me you mean we need to search all of the other rooms.
Don't freak out. We've already searched 4 of them.
4 rooms?
We just have to split up the rest between the 8 of us. If each of us can do 6 rooms apiece, we'll have the other 48 rooms cleared in no time.
There are 48 other rooms?
Her early experiences had apparently not encouraged Lotus to trust Seven. Seven scratched his head awkwardly.
Maybe?
Alright, so everyone knows which area they're searching?
Yeah.
Yes!
Junpei was chosen to search the rooms on the starboard side, moving from forward to
I'll
aft.
meet up when the clock goes off again. How about in that room with all the beds?
Yeah, sounds straightforward enough.
I'll shout if I find any of the components we need.
I hope we can find them within the time limit.
If we can't, then we'll just have to come up with another plan.
Right. Then let's do this.
Okay. The details decided they left to begin searching. Out into the hallway they went, each into the rooms they'd been assigned. However, alright.
It's a 1. I better get back to... Huh? What are they doing over... What happened, guy?
It's June who answered him.
Jumpy, look!
She's pointing at the red. He pushed through the others until they stood in front of them.
Vacant?
Yeah, we already did this. boy.
How about the casino on B deck?
Okay, let's go, Jumpy.
So it's Lotus.
Hey, what do you think you're...
Isn't it obvious? I'm looking for Snake.
I'm just not seeing it.
Really? Maybe you need to look hard.
No, that's all right. Let's go, June.
Was that okay? You don't think we should have listened to her?
No, I've got a pretty good idea what her proposal would have been. We should be looking for Snake.
Huh.
Well, where should we go? Hey, why don't we go back to the big hot...
Sure, let's go.
I doubt we learn anything from him.
Jumpy?
No, nothing. Why don't we go check out the first-class cabin?
All right, let's go.
Maybe we should leave her alone.
Yes, I think.
Laura had driven home the misery of their situation, but Junpei told himself that getting depressed would get him nowhere but depressed.
We really need to find Snake. Hey, why don't we go back? We can take a look at that hallway with all...
Okay, let's get going then.
Oh, it's Ace.
Hey, Snake! Where are... Answer me if you're there!
Let's go.
Ah, hello there. Snake is... Well, that's obvious, isn't it? I assume you haven't found him yet?
Yeah, doesn't seem like you're having any luck either.
I really wonder where he could have gone.
Well, wherever he's disappeared to, we must find him as quickly as we can. For Clover's sake.
Right.
June's face looked kind of
By the
enraptured.
way, do you think Clover and Snake are really siblings?
Why would you say that?
The question seemed somehow odd to
Why?
Junpei.
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? They don't look alike at all.
Ace looked at him for a moment and then spoke.
Yes, you know, now that you mention it, they don't. Still, there are a great many siblings who do not look like one another. It certainly isn't rare.
Junpei wasn't sure why or even if he was seeing what he thought he was, but he could have sworn that Ace's face tightened as he spoke.
At any rate, we really must find Snake as soon as possible. The clock is ticking. We really can't afford to waste any time. Very well. Let's get back to the search, shall we? You can leave this area to me.
All right. Let's go, Jumpy.
June's urging they left. Found themselves back at the stairs, but Junpei's mind was in turmoil.
That was... I'll think on
Think
it
on it
later.
later.
Like Ace said, finding Snake is our top priority.
Junpei did his best to clear his
All right.
mind.
Where should we go next? Let's go take a look around.
Okay, let's go.
Let's head back to the large hospital room.
All right, let's...
I don't think anyone is here.
There wasn't any way that the numbers worked out. If one group was 4 and the other group would always have a digital route that didn't match a door. When Seven spoke, his voice was strained.
Then you're saying we gotta decide who's gonna stay behind.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we already know. It's gonna be Ace. Mm-hmm. Yep. We've done this bit before. Well, I'm going to leave it here, and then we'll come back to this in the next session. All right. That was going through door 4. All right. See y'all next time.